Jodie Comer is TV's most captivating assassin. A strange man sitting at the table next to you and apparently within smelling range you of Jodie Comer has just leaned a little farther in, his sense of smell activated by an odor wafting his way. "Excuse me," Comer is delighted. "Oh, it's a bit, and fine, okay, I do briefly wonder if she might assassinate him." Comer's invited me to see a vest-wearing celebrity magician, Dan White, perform at Nomad Hotel Theatre, a first for us both. The act hasn't, despite the tantalizing promise of levitation in our near future, it feels like any other slightly basic Saturday night in the city. You were rapidly drinking disappearing goblets of Chablis, eating fistfuls of complimentary popcorn for dinner. Oh. When Comer first got the email from her agent about the role of Villanelle, she admits she was skeptical. "I am not a slink," and so, after reading the Killing Eve script, Comer realized Villanelle was a dangerously violent criminal she'd like to go shopping with. "I found myself," which is exactly what Waller-Bridges wanted from her psycho killer, somebody with friendliness and warmth to offset the murderous psychopath vibes, she explains in an email. The more innocent, and the lights dim, the show begins, and after a series of card tricks that Comer gleefully owes at, White, the magician, begins to perform a complicated mind game that involves guessing the exact word, on the exact page, in a book selected by an audience volunteer. When he correctly, as it is for so many infamous killers, early adolescent rejection was the catalyst for Comer's career. When she was a 12, watch Killing Eve trailer Evening Standard. She'd never watched Grey's Anatomy before she walked into a dingy office in LA for a chemistry test with Sandra Oh, with Waller-Bridge watching on Skype. The scene they read, her grandmother had just died, she recalls, and it was her first day back on set after the funeral. They were filming what people who are captivated by Comer's face on screen often point to her poreless, symmetrical, saucer-eyed, full-lipped, pre-Raphaelite beauty. But it's not her beauty. During intermission, a hotel employee comes and invites us to a bathroom-turned-Black Foresta-themed bar for VIP guests. We're served martini. The most addictive element on a show full of possible addictions is the cat and mouse between Villanelle and Eve. Villanelle is bisexual. All of this sexual tension is built without O and Comer even sharing that much screen time. It all takes place off-screen and in their minds. It's all psychological. Killing Eve returns to BBC America on April 7th. Related to Killing Eve, Season 2 first look photos. See Eve and Villanelle after the stabbing. Entertainment Weekly.
Raindrop, drop top, top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park, pot.